This unexpected extra time off school means that many parents are faced with the challenge of having to either educate their children from home or at least figure out how to manage this extra time.
I was all alone, but then you came along.
Hi, my name is Erin Berry. I'm a home education consultant, author of Yes, You Can Homeschool, The Terrified Parent's Companion to Homeschool Success, and I equip parents to home educate their children. I also work with students directly, tutoring all ages and grades of homeschooled, public school, and private schooled students. And so today, I'd just like to share some ideas to help you navigate this mandatory time at home. And so in this short video, I'll be covering routine, a few thoughts on unschooling, and 3 academic tips. So let's get started. Routine. First, I want to say how sorry I am that this is happening, and I can't imagine how hard it is on parents. Not only are you faced now with your children at home, but we all have financial concerns, and we're concerned about our loved ones. And so I think the goal right now is just for us to manage this crisis as well as possible. We're all trying to figure it out together. So please, as parents, don't feel the pressure to have to duplicate school at home. This is hopefully a short-term situation, and we'll be back in school soon enough. But a good first step is to have some ideas on how to manage our routine. You know, anytime our schedule gets a hit like this, it causes everybody to feel stressed and pushes our emotions to the limit. And you might even see this with your children, that they're a little bit more out of sorts now as well, because they're wondering what's going on. And this is where a routine or schedule can be so helpful. It allows us to have some structure, which gives us a sense of security. And this structure or schedule doesn't have to be really tight. It can be loose, just some ideas so that your children know what's coming and you have a little bit of a plan of action. You know, as long as I've homeschooled, we've always had a routine during the school year that's different than the summer, which is kind of funny. I don't know that people who don't homeschool realize that. But our structure during the school year really helps us to manage all that time that we have together and to be productive. And one of the things I've always done is sort of think in terms of time blocks. So I would think, okay, the first couple hours of the day, you know, they get up, do their breakfast and whatever things, you know, a few chores. And then I think in terms of blocks, like for these couple hours, we're going to cover these subjects. These couple hours, we're going to cover these subjects and activities. And it's sort of loose, but it gives me in my head some direction. So what I would like to suggest is that in your mind, you just have some themes for different blocks of time. So maybe you have your children get up at a specific time, maybe make it a little later because we can make this time, that would be fun, you know, if they get to sleep until 9. Maybe they do their chores or whatever. And then you have time blocks. So maybe for an hour or so, the theme is like academics. And then maybe for an hour or so after that, you say, okay, we're going to have some creative time where you have to do something, you know, arts or crafts or, I don't know, even cooking or something. Then you might even say, okay, at this time, you're going to have sibling time, where we're going to sit down and as a family you have to interact with your siblings. Or this time's going to be a quiet reading time. And that way you have these loose blocks that you can give your children something to do, and everybody will feel a sense of order, and it will just help this time to be so much more manageable. And I want to suggest also that you might note that your children have a hard time maybe even taking some of this direction from you. But that's not uncommon, or it's almost understandable. You know, they're used to going to school, getting this direction from their teacher, and now you're taking that role. So I just want to say, have grace as you figure out this role and as your children adjust to you having that role. But again, a little bit of structure, a little bit of direction like that, and you will take some of the pressure off. You'll feel better, and so will your children. All right, the second thing I'd like to talk about is unschooling. As we just covered, it's good to have structure so that we're using our time deliberately. And it also helps with the temptation of wanting to overdo electronics when we have all this extra time. But I also mentioned we don't want to just duplicate school at home. We have a unique time where our regular pace and expectations are interrupted. And so consider using this time to do things that regular schedule doesn't allow. Think about things that you've always wanted maybe to teach your children. Have you always wanted to take some time to discuss budgeting? Have you wanted to teach them how to build an engine? Have you wanted to take more time to do cooking? Anything that you've wanted to explore, now would be a great time to add into your schedule. And ask your students, what are they interested in? The pace of school is pretty structured, not allowing a lot of time for them to consider the things that they're interested in. This would be a great time for them to consider, wow, I've always wanted to know about astronomy, and maybe do a unit study on that, or take time to read books that they haven't had the opportunity to read. And it doesn't even just have to be learning things like that. You could take the time to do a thorough spring cleaning, have them go through their toys, have them go through their closets. Again, just to think about this time as a break from what we always have to do and how can we best use it. One of my favorite ideas that I've seen online is how much people are, aware of their community. Our older children are going to have more time, and maybe they could use this time to really serve the people around them. They could run errands for elderly people or people that have compromised immune systems. They could help with taking care of their lawn. They could walk their dog. Or for parents that are still trying to work at home and they have their kids, older kids could come and help babysit. I just think it's going to be exciting as we reflect back on this time. Maybe how did we use it to really serve those around us? And how did we make it fun, or maybe we'll have some really special memories. And now the final thing I'd like to talk about is 3 academic tips. You may say, oh, Erin, that's fine, all these ideas, but I'm concerned about academics. I'm concerned that my students are going to fall behind during this extended break. What can I do to support that? So I would like to suggest 3 things you can do, and that is to consider your basics, which are reading, writing, and arithmetic. If you focus on these areas, you'll keep your students' skills sharp. So the first is reading, and you want to have 2 types of reading. You want to have both independent reading and read alouds. And independent reading means that they have a book and they read silently for a short period of time. Read aloud is when you as a family may gather, cuddle on the couch, or everybody sprawl in the living room, and you read a book out loud to your family. And that is such a wonderful time. It's excellent for their brain stimulation, as well as a beautiful shared family experience. Now, for their independent reading, you want to consider 3 reading levels. There is what's easy, grade level, and let's say challenging. So when a person is reading for enjoyment, they would do an easy reading level. When they're doing academics, we like to be on grade level. And when you're doing your read alouds, those can be a more challenging read because we can listen to a more difficult reading level than we can actually read ourselves. And it makes perfect sense if you think about it. We learn to speak before we learn to read. And so that's why we can hear a more challenging book out loud. But you may say, Erin, well, how do I know my students what's easy for them and what's their reading level? And so I just want to share a simple tip, and that is if your student has a book, have them read a page of their book to you. If they read it without any mistakes, very quickly, very easily, it's probably a little bit easy for them. If they read it and they make number mistakes, like every 5 or 7 words, then that's too difficult for them. If they read it and they just make a few mistakes here and there, but they're able to figure out those words and figure out the story by the context, then that is their reading level. And so again, enjoyment, you want below your level. Academics, you want to be on your level. And read alouds, you can challenge them a bit. Now, second is arithmetic or math. And I want you to know, as I said, I tutor students and have tutored students for many, many years. And I continually find the same kind of struggles that students have in math. And what I would love to suggest is take this time to really reinforce skills. So if you have elementary students, well, actually, to be honest, I have seen these problems with my high school students as well. So scrap that. Let's just do this with everyone. First, make sure they can do their basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division facts, that they're memorized. I know people give memorization a bad name, but I'm telling you, you go on to Algebra 1, Algebra 2, you're just doing those same basic operations, only more complicated. And I'll see a lot of students who they can't multiply. And here they are in these higher level maths, and those basics aren't firm. So I would spend some time on those facts. Second area I see a lot is fractions, and this affects algebra and geometry again. And students forget how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. So that's another great thing to focus on. And the third one is your negative and positive numbers. Again, how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide your negative numbers. And you can do this easily. If you're doing facts, they could just have a sheet. You could time them, and they could do one every day and see if their time improves. You could do it through games. Use cards, a deck of cards, and have them add, subtract, multiply, divide the numbers. Make the kings, queens, and jacks, 11, 12, 13, or whatever. Or you can go online. Khan Academy is great. Honestly, you can just say, how do you multiply fractions? And up will come lots of options. But that would be a great way to reinforce their math skills during this time. And then finally, writing. And for writing, I would suggest keep a journal. Small children can draw a picture and write a simple sentence, and you can just help them with their grammar and their spelling. Older children can keep a journal. They can talk about their feelings and experiences, how this pandemic has affected businesses in different countries. Because the truth is, we're living through history, and they are eyewitnesses to something that, we haven't seen certainly in our lifetime. And so it would be a great thing to journal about. They would learn about their reading process or their writing process. They'd strengthen those skills. And like I said, maybe leave something that future generations would really appreciate, or at least they even could look back and reflect on. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. And I'd love to hear your biggest concerns or questions during this time, so put those in the comment below. And if you find that you're interested in home education, please check out our website, thehomeeducatedmind.com, or download our free color-coded PDF, Is Homeschooling Right for Me? I'll see you in the next video.